Hello students, today I have come up with the third part of class 11 chapter, which is some basic concepts of chemistry. Okay, in the last video I have spoken about Dalton's atomic theory and its postulates. In this video I'll start with the importance of Dalton's atomic theory, the limitations and the modifications. Okay, before starting with this portion, let me just tell you that in this video I am just explaining all the points. In the study material which I'll give to you, only points are present through which you can just remember the points. But please go through this video in order to get the explanation portion. All the explanation portions I'll just explain on the board. So please go through this video. This is an important video. Okay, let's start with the importance of Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton's atomic theory states that atoms are smallest units of matter. So you can say that this is the first approach or first concept towards the constitutional aspects of matter. Before this, no such concept regarding the constituents of matter was given. This is a very important part of Dalton's atomic theory. The next point is that in Dalton's atomic theory, it is stated that the atoms of a particular element will have identical properties. From that idea, it is very easy to determine the atomic masses of elements. Okay, the third importance. Dalton's atomic theory easily explains the laws of chemical combination which involve the mass of the compounds or atoms. So, before this video, I have explained to you the laws of chemical combination. They have a reciprocal proportion, law of multiple proportion, law of definite proportion. These laws were the laws of chemical combination that involve the atomic masses. So, Dalton's atomic theory can easily explain these laws of chemical combination. But another law, which is the Gay-Lussac law, consists of the volume portion, which means that Gay-Lussac's law generally involves the volumes of gases, which part cannot be explained by Dalton's atomic theory, because Dalton's atomic theory is basically an atomic concept, not a molecular concept. But for Gay-Lussac law of equal volume, molecular concept is important. So this part I'll come to when I'll teach you the limitations. Okay, the next point or the next importance is Dalton's atomic theory states that atoms combine with each other. Dalton's atomic theory states that atoms combine with each other in simple whole number ratio. Atoms combine with each other in simple whole number ratio. Okay. From this idea, we can determine the chemical formulae of the compounds. From this idea, we can determine the chemical formulae of the compounds. Okay, before Dalton's atomic theory, or before knowing about the Dalton's atomic theory, normally chemical equations or chemical reactions, you can say, were written in word form, word equation. For example, if I take the example of sodium chloride reacting with silver nitrate to give a Cardi white precipitate of silver chloride and a solution of sodium nitrate. But as soon as the chemical formulae of the compounds were determined, this word equation can be written in this form. Now you can ask that what is the difference between these two forms? What problem will be faced if it is written in this word form? The problem is not with this equation, because in this equation, this equation is completely balanced. So in this equation there won't be any problem. But in other equations which are not balanced, cannot be balanced with the help of this word reaction. In this word reactions like this, balancing cannot be done. But as soon as chemical formulae of the compounds are determined, this type of formula representations are important, because there we can balance the reactions. And as soon as we can balance the reaction by just looking into this chemical reaction, we can just say that how much ratio by volume or by mass of the reactants are used to give the desired products. So this is an important part of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay? Okay. The next portion, or the next important point, is, fifth point is, Dalton's atomic theory states that atoms are indivisible, which means that atoms cannot be divided into subatomic parts. The indivisibility of atom was a postulate of Dalton's atomic theory. From this postulate, we can do the calculations of masses much more easily. So this point makes the calculations easier. And the sixth importance is that this theory formed a basis for the molecular concept which was developed by Avogadro. Okay, so these are the importance of Dalton's atomic theory. Next I'll come to the limitations. Limitations of Dalton's atomic theory is important. Limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, now what are the limitations? The first limitation is that in Dalton's atomic theory, it was stated that atom is indivisible. But in the later discoveries, it was found that atom is made up of subatomic particles. Atom is made up of subatomic particles electrons, protons and neutrons. So his point that the atoms are indivisible is not correct. The next point is that he did not make a clear distinction between the smallest units of element and that of compounds. No proper distinction. Okay, these created a confusion regarding the nature of the ultimate unit of a substance. So, there was no proper distinction between what will be the smallest unit of element and what will be the smallest unit of compound. No proper distinction. As a result, confusion was created regarding the nature of ultimate unit of matter. Okay? Okay, the next limitation is also an important limitation. The next limitation is that in Dalton's atomic theory, it was stated that the atoms of a particular element have identical properties in all respects. But that is not correct in cases of isotopes and isobars. So, what did the postulate of Dalton's atomic theory stated? It stated that the atoms of an element or the atoms of a particular element will be identical in all respects. But look at the isotopes. Isotopes are those elements having the similar atomic number but different mass number, atomic mass. Let me look into the isotopes of hydrogen. See, different mass numbers or different atomic masses. Also, I'll take another example of chlorine. I'll take another example of carbon. I'm not writing the atomic numbers. See, in case of the three isotopes of hydrogen, all the three atoms are of a same element hydrogen, but three of them has different atomic masses. Look into the example of chlorine. Both the atoms are of the same element chlorine, but they are having different atomic masses. Look into carbon. All the three atoms of carbon are from the same element carbon, but they are having different atomic masses. So this postulate is not true for isotopes. Okay. Now let us come to the isobars. What are isobars? Isobars are the atoms of different elements, but they have the same atomic masses. I will give an example of argon and calcium. See, both argon and calcium are the two atoms of two completely different elements. This is an alkaline earth metal and this is a noble gas. But just look at the atomic masses. Atoms of different elements have same atomic masses. So, this property of, or you can say this postulate of Dalton's atomic theory is not true for isotopes and isobars. Okay? Okay. I'll come to the fourth limitation. The fourth limitation states that the atoms combine with each other in simple whole number ratio. But this is not true for cellulose, starch, proteins. Here the atoms combine in whole numbers. They combine in whole number ratio, but not in simple whole number ratio. In cases of Bartholides or Bartholide compounds. What are Bartholide compounds? These are the non-stoichiometric compounds. I have explained to you the non-stoichiometric compounds in the previous videos, so I am not explaining this part. In the non-stoichiometric compounds also, the atoms cannot combine in simple whole number ratio. There is always a fraction, or you can say a decimal in the ratio. So this is also another limitation of Dalton's atomic theory. And the fifth limitation is Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law of equal volumes cannot be explained by Dalton's atomic theory, because this law is a molecular concept and Dalton's atomic theory is completely an atomic concept. So Gay-Lussac's law of equal volumes cannot be explained with the help of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, and another example is that it is said, or you can say this is an example of limitation, the sixth limitation. In Dalton's atomic theory, it is stated that the atoms are neither created nor destroyed, but during nuclear reactions, atom of a particular element can be transformed artificially into atoms of another element. I'll give you an example. This is a nuclear, or you can say the atom of uranium. Basically in radioactive reactions we say nucleus. So this is uranium. Uranium will form thorium with the release of one helium. So look at this reaction. This is a nuclear reaction in which uranium is transformed into thorium. Okay, if I take another example of this, 14C6 is carbon with atom mass number 14. Will form nitrogen along with release of an electron. This portion you will learn in radioactivity later. Again, when you will come to the radioactivity chapter, you will learn what happens in the reaction. But I just want to show you that these are the limitations. In nuclear reactions, one atom of a particular element gets transformed into another atom of another element. So atoms can be created or destroyed. Okay, these are basically the limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. Now I will come to the modifications of Dalton's atomic theory. Modifications. From the limitations, we will come to the modified form. Now, what is the modified form? Here we can write that atoms are divisible. Atoms are divisible into subatomic particles. Atoms are divisible into subatomic particles. What are the subatomic particles? Electrons, protons, and neutrons. Okay. The next point is that atoms of the same element having similar chemical properties can have different physical properties or atomic masses. Third point is that atoms of the different elements having different chemical properties can have same atomic masses. That is, this is for isotopes, and the third point is for isobars. Okay. Then what will be the next postulate? The fourth postulate, or you can say the modification. The fourth modification will be atoms can be created or destroyed. And the fifth and the last modification will be that in the Dalton's atomic theory, it is stated that atoms combine during a chemical reaction. Here I will say that the outermost electrons or valence electrons, the outermost electrons are known as valence electrons. The valence electrons combine or take part in the chemical reaction. Okay, these are the modifications of Dalton's atomic theory. Now I will come to the concept of molecules. Now I will come to the concept of molecules. A chemist known as Berzelius tried to correlate the Dalton's atomic theory with Gay-Lussac's law of equal volumes. But while doing this, he has given a generalization of his hypothesis. His hypothesis stated that under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, equal volumes of all gases have same number of atoms. This was his hypothesis, but his hypothesis was discarded. Why his hypothesis was discarded? Because in his hypothesis, maybe all the points are coinciding with the Dalton's atomic theory, but one postulate, which is the indivisibility of atom, did not support this statement or this hypothesis. So his hypothesis was discarded. After that, Avogadro, another scientist known as Avogadro, stated that the Gay-Lussac's law can be explained with the Gay-Lussac's law and the Dalton's atomic theory can be correlated if another minute particle can be considered apart from atom, and he named that minute particle as molecule. He made a clear distinction between atom and molecule before stating his own hypothesis. He said that molecule can have a free existence and it can have the characteristic properties of that substance with which it is made up of. He stated that molecules can be of two types: element molecules or elementary molecules, you can say. These molecules are the molecules which are made up of atoms of the same element, like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. Just look into these molecules. These are made up, hydrogen is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen, oxygen is made up of 2 atoms of oxygen, nitrogen is made up of 2 atoms of nitrogen. So these are element molecules in which the molecules are made up of atoms of the same element. But what are compound molecules? Compound molecules are the molecules which are made up of atoms of different elements, like water. See, 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen. Carbon dioxide, 1 atom of carbon, 2 atoms of oxygen. So these are compound molecules where atoms of different elements form the molecules. Okay, and the third important point regarding molecule, he said, is that molecules, I'm not writing the entire part, can be divided into its constituents during a chemical reaction. These are the 3 main parts which he said about molecules, and this third point is not at all suitable for atoms. Okay? After this, after defining molecule properly, he has made his hypothesis. His hypothesis also states that under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, equal volumes of all gases have same number of molecules. This was his law or hypothesis, statement of his hypothesis. Now I'll just give an example of this or explain this part. Just consider that there are 2 gas jars. There are 2 gas jars. This consists of, this is gas jar A and this is gas jar B. Gas jar A consists of 2 liters of nitrogen. Gas jar B consists of 2 liters of oxygen. Both the gases are at temperature T and pressure P. Now if gas jar A, if in gas jar A n number of molecules are present in 2 liter of, if in gas jar A n number of molecules are present in 2 liter of nitrogen, then in gas jar B also n number of molecules will be present in 2 liter of oxygen. Okay, and I'm repeating this, that keeping the temperature and pressure same in both the gas jars, if n number of molecules are present in 2 liters of nitrogen in gas jar A, then at the same temperature and pressure, n number of molecules will only be present in 2 liters of oxygen in gas jar B. Okay, this is Avogadro hypothesis. The converse of this hypothesis states that if n number of molecules are present at same temperature and pressure in gas jar A, and if gas jar A consists of 2 liter of nitrogen, then in gas jar B also, where n number of molecules are only present, it will also have the same volume, which means that same number of molecules, if all the gases containing same number of molecules at same temperature and pressure will occupy the same volume. N number of molecules, same temperature, pressure, same temperature, pressure. If this has 2 liters of nitrogen, then this will also have 2 liters of oxygen only. Okay, this is basically the converse of Avogadro hypothesis. Okay, this is all about Avogadro hypothesis. I will just explain the later parts of this chapter in the next video. Thank you.